Hi everybody, welcome back. Today we are going to be expanding on the conversation that we had last week about settling. What did we say? It's about settling in relationships, right?
Right.
And then have like fake relationships, but then more just like settling for less. So if you're interested in this conversation, then keep watching. Okay, so I actually had a conversation last night when I was at work. There was a man, he asked me about, cause he was wanting to know about the podcast, the show.
Right.
And I was telling him about it. He asked me what the show was kind of about, and I said, there's various subjects, and I told him that, the most recent subject we were talking about settling in relationships, and settling for less,
Right.
or just settling in general. And he said, he was married, and, he was like in his late 50s. He's been married for, I think he said 20 years. But he told me, he was like, well, yeah, I see your point there. He said, but to be honest with you kind of have to, after a while, settle. I said, well, why do you think that? And he said, because, he said, well, he has been married for 20 years, but the woman that he was, I guess you can say, in love with, was 20 years ago. Was 20 years ago. He said what he really wanted was her. Right? He's like, but that didn't work out. He's accepted that. He doesn't even really think. He said he doesn't really think a whole bunch about this woman, but he did want her. So he said he had to settle for his wife. And he's like, I know it sounds horrible. I know that sounds horrible, but in a way, he said he had to settle for his wife. So in some ways, you had to settle. So he said something in the effect of, how long are you going to wait? I told him I was 42 and I'm not married. I've never been married. He said, well, how long do you have to wait? At some point, you're going to have to choose somebody, and that's just going to be the person you're with. And I said, well, he said, because time's, ticking and all this. Okay. And I said, well, I kind of see it differently. If I'm 42 and I've waited this long, why would I rush to settle at this point?
So you think at this point you want to wait till the right person comes because...
Well, isn't that this? I mean, I feel like that at this point, why would you
settle? If you waited this long?
Right. If you waited this long, why would you settle? He wasn't. He said he loves it. It's funny because I'm using him as an example because he said that he loves his wife. He married to her for a very long time. She's a very lovely woman, very attentive. She's a great person. You know what I mean? And he said he loves her. He said, but the truth of the matter is,
Right.
he said, I wouldn't just say it to anybody. He said, and in some ways I did settle.
I mean, there's different love, though. There's in love, and there's being and loving someone because they stuck around, and loving someone because you started something with them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I guess the better question for him, are you in love with her, or are you just love her?
He said he's in love with her. I don't know.
I mean, because you just said love. So, my point in saying that is like, that love is very fluid. It depends on, you could love a lot of different people a lot of different ways. I don't settle for people.
Yeah, I don't
like that. I think when people settle, it's because they don't like themselves. And I know how that sounds. Like, a lot of people will disagree with that because they'll say, "Oh, at some point you gotta, you're gonna get older and you're not gonna meet someone." But if you need somebody to settle down with because you feel like you're getting older, then what you're saying is that you're not enough.
Yeah.
By yourself to the point where you're going to settle with someone you're not that interested in just so your life looks right socially.
Yeah. True. He said that he said that he thinks that men look at this differently. Women look at it as waiting for the spark and the whole moment, right? And then men like the spark. The spark is great, but they're more practical.
Right.
And make it a certain age, they feel like they should just make it happen. But when a man is in his late 30s, like he was, I think he was in his 30s, and he said that it's just he had to make it happen at this point.
I mean, if you want to have kids, I guess I see your point. But like I said, the last relationship I was in, that was what I was facing.
Yeah.
Wanting children and walking away from somebody. And the thing is I'm not going to settle with someone because I want kids, because I'm not bringing children into a subpar relationship.
Yeah,
I mean, just so I can meet some social demand that people tell you you're supposed to be at a certain age. It's not fair to the person. And I know many people who are married, that are just not in love with the person they're married. They're just there,
Yeah.
and they respect them because they step
Yeah.
around and
Well, we talked about that last week.
you know.
When people are just respect their spouse and they stay because of the longevity situation or because they've been through something with them, they feel like they have to stay. And I don't think it's necessary. And I feel like you're not gonna be living you're not gonna get any romance out of a relationship like that. You won't get any kind of.
I look at
I
look at my life I look at time, my valuable time with something.
Yeah.
So it was like when we were talking about work. Even if I don't love the job,
Yeah.
I still do it 100% because I feel like I'm not going to waste my time at a job and not do it right. You know what I mean? I'm also not going to stay at a job I don't like forever.
Yeah.
And waste my time there. I'm not going to waste my time with friends I don't like just to say I'm social.
Yeah.
Or I've got friends. And I feel the same way about dating. I'm not going to marry you just because I'm 40. I'm not going to marry, you're not going to, I don't want to be, you never see like you say, like, there's this thing where someone said, I don't even want to have lunch with someone for an hour
Yeah.
that I don't really want to have lunch with.
Yeah.
It's an hour
Right.
of you wasting your lunch hour with someone you don't really like.
Yeah.
And so I feel like now you're talking about your life.
Right. And you're just like,
This isn't even a lunch. This is your entire life. This is what your kids will be attached to this. Your photos will be attached to this. And every time you look at her, you will respect her because she's stuck in there, but you'll never really have that feeling.
Yeah, which is what I think this guy was. I think he's more of a. I said to him, I said, sound like you more just respect your respect your wife, but the mere mention of this other woman many years ago, the one that got away, it's kind of like what he's calling. The one that got away. I'm like, well, if that's the one that got away, then how can you possibly say that you're in love with this woman?
Yeah, and you remember I told you that I had a theory about the one that got away. I think if they got away, they weren't for you.
Yeah,
that's why they got away.
Yeah.
If the universe wanted you to be together, you would definitely be together. That's what they say, that never fear, if it's not a good time to be with someone, never fear losing them, because if they were meant for you, they'll come back.
Yeah.
You can't be afraid to lose people. You know what I mean? You have to live authentically to yourself. You know, and my thing is like, I've had a feeling where someone I thought was the right one and they got married and everything, and I thought that was maybe the one that got away. But as I watch them more, or because we're friends on Facebook, on social media, I don't feel that I think differently now.
Yeah.
Because I realize that we're not at all. We weren't all. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I just think that the universe has someone better for me. Not that he's saying anything's wrong with him, but something better for me. So the one that got away is really it's really just something, because I think that you can have connections with lots of people.
Yeah. Yeah, you can.
You can fall in. Love is a choice. You choose to love people. You know what I mean? And the thing is like, if someone leaves your life, it's not like there's billions of people in this world.
Yeah.
There's not going to be the only person in the world you can ever love ever again for 20 years. And I think had he waited a year or two, he probably dated right and gotten over and mourned the relationship and gotten over, he probably would have met someone that he really does like and not just settled for.
Yeah. Because
You had a guy that called his wife his default wife.
Yeah.
And who wants to walk around feeling like that for the rest of life, that you're a default wife? And if he's saying that to people, then she has to feel that.
Yeah. So I know somebody who, it's a man. I know he got married to somebody, and through conversation, I didn't know this man this well. We were just kind of having a conversation, and he said that I was, how'd you meet your wife? She's very lovely, like that. And he said, he said, well, we were friends, and for a little while, and we just thought, well, we might as well get married. So she's kind of my default wife. And I just thought, I said, well, does she know you're calling her the default wife? That's horrible. Like that. And he was like, I don't think it's horrible. Just that if you're already spending time together and you're already, living together and you're buddies, and you guys feel like friends, like it could work, then it's just sometimes it's just time to do it.
Right, but why is she default? Why can't she just be your wife? Why did you add a word?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Why did you need to add a word that she's just your wife?
Yeah, so it's not
You know what I mean? There's no in between. She's either your wife or she's not your wife. But the fact that you had to add a default, like what does that mean? Is this a different type of wife?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's how I feel. Like you were saying about earlier about men. You said men think of it a practical way.
Yeah.
I think of it that way
Well, that's
too.
what this man said, and I guess
Right.
yeah.
And but I think of it. I think of it sort of practical too. Why would you spend time? Why would you waste your time with somebody that you're not really interested in?
Yeah.
I mean, I love my own company. If you can't match that, then we're not.
Yeah.
I'm not going to live with someone. I'm not going to live with someone, have sex with someone, make children with someone, and build a life with someone, have a mortgage with someone that I look at them and go,
Yeah.
I guess I'm married.
Yeah. I think down the line,
But it's like things like that. You realize why the divorce rate is so high.
Yeah.
Because people do go into marriage with that attitude.
It was like you were saying earlier, divorce. You were talking about the divorce rate, and how many people would actually get divorced? Remember you said that?
Yeah.
How many people would actually get divorced if it?
No, how many people will get married?
If divorce was never an option. You just had to be married.
Right. People would think I mean, men all over America would think before they got on their knee. They would really evaluate that. If you could only get married one time in your life, and that was just American law.
Yeah.
You cannot
What
get
would you
out
do?
of it.
I mean,
you guys are financially tied to each other forever. You guys are supposed to have children.
Yeah.
Everything was just like, that is what it is. This is
Yeah.
your one and only, and you believe me, I can tell you two things that would happen.
Right.
People would men would evaluate women a little closer.
Yeah.
And see if they're going the same direction.
Yeah.
And people would not get married in their 20s.
Right.
It's true.
It's true.
But divorce is an option. That's the reason why people hastily jump into things.
Especially in America, it's a very easy option.
Nobody's going to Las Vegas if that was the fact.
Yeah, right. No
one's getting drunk and going to Las Vegas and marrying people they don't know.
Yeah.
With a law like that. But the thing is that we have laws that say we have laws that say that you can get married after knowing someone for a couple hours.
People like the idea. I think sometimes people like the idea of being married. You know what I mean? Like being able to say my husband and my wife instead of the actual marriage.
I mean, it's a rite of passage. You know what I mean? It's like graduating from high school, getting your driver's license. You know what I mean? And marriage is something most people want to do.
Yeah.
You know, what they say, 90% of Americans want to get married.
Yeah.
You know, so people who sit around saying, I don't care.
Have you always wanted to get married?
Yeah. I know.
Yeah,
I've always wanted to have marriage. But the way that I see marriage is, I think I've always seen marriage. I've never seen marriage fairy tale-y.
Like you think about it.
No, I've always looked at it as a partnership.
Yeah.
And you have to understand that people aren't perfect.
Yeah.
You know, I think back in my younger years, I took that imperfection too far, where I let people just be really mean.
Yeah.
And I said, well, they're not perfect, so I have to deal with that. No. But being not perfect means that I'm not perfect either.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? Like I said to you earlier, if I'm dating someone and their annoying little habits don't annoy me to the point where I want to break up with you, then that's fine.
Yeah.
But if their annoying little habits does annoy me, and then I don't want to marry you.
Right.
Because it won't ever go away. If I want to have children and you don't, we can't get married. I don't care how much.
But there's some situations where I call them like, excuse me, it's like deal breakers where, like, I will not date a smoker. Like there's a non-negotiable stuff that's out that I just will say no to. That I won't settle with. So you know what I mean. So if I meet someone and he's like the guy of like my dreams, and wonderful and smart and intelligent and go-getter and just all the qualities that I'm actually looking for, and he smokes.
Yeah.
I would have to give that up.
I saw a guy in the hotel the other day, and he was relatively good looking, but he smelled like weed. And now, to me, marijuana is fine, but it smells like underarms. That's how I feel about it. I think you stink. You know what I mean? And so you know what I mean? And I don't mean to hurt people's feelings that are marijuana smokers, because, if you
it's an offensive smell if you're not a smoker. Let's put it that way.
If you smoke weed, date someone else who does. Yeah. Don't try to date outside of yourself. You know what I mean? Because this guy walked past me and he just smelled like an underarm. And it's just like, all I could think was, it's funny because the first thing I do, sometimes I do that. Like I think, could I date someone who smokes weed?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Is it
But
that bad?
yeah.
But then I thought to myself, if my husband ever jumped in bed and he smelled like that,
Yeah.
I don't think I'd want to be in the same room with him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't want to smell it in your car. I don't want to smell like that. It's not a good smell.
What if he does? What if he smokes it like once a month?
If he doesn't smell like an underarm, fine. You know what I mean? But that would mean that you'd have to smoke it very little, very little. You know what I mean? And you couldn't smoke it in the house, and I don't want you to smoke it around me. But then how annoying would that be? Because if you're a person who is a marijuana smoker, you need to be around someone who also smokes marijuana.
Yeah, I know people.
I'm okay with a guy if he has a couple of glasses of wine, or because I drink. I mean, I'm not a drunk. You know what I mean? Like I only drink like a glass of wine when I do have a glass. I have a glass of wine, but. I'm okay with that because I don't smell like alcohol.
Right.
Because I'm not, drinking the
bottle.
bottle.
It's not seeping through your pores.
I'm not drinking the bottle of wine. I'm only drinking a glass of wine.
Yeah.
But I don't mind if my husband has a couple glasses of wine. It doesn't offend me, but it might offend other people. A lot of people don't like someone else.
So would you? So you would say you would settle for him. So if you're the guy you're with so you're saying like if he's a smoker, period, you won't. That's your one. Okay, so that's what I'm saying.
I won't date someone.
So the question really becomes
weed or cigarettes. I'm not into that.
So I guess settling, when you talk about that, it's more of what are your deal breakers, honestly, because that's what.
Yeah.
Because I feel like anything beyond that.
I won't date a guy who doesn't have any goals.
Okay.
In life, if you don't have anything to talk about, but just
BS.
Things that really, to me, I mean, I'm 43. You got to have something else to talk about. You know what I mean? I don't want to talk about clubs, and I want to talk about, there was this guy, look, I swear, there was this one guy that I did like. And he's my age, he's a little older than me.
Yeah.
But, it's like our conversation was... Childish. He just wouldn't get off the... He's kind of ghetto.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I try to give people chances because I don't, just because you're from the ghetto doesn't mean that you are.
Yeah.
It means you could shoot for the, there are plenty of successful people that came from there. You know what I mean? So you don't want to just, write someone off.
Yeah.
But when someone's conversation is just hood.
Yeah.
Or just no real... What's the word I'm looking for? Like no real substance.
Yeah.
It's just like I get bored fast with that. You know what I mean? You got to be telling me some goals. Where are you going? What else is happening in your life?
I dated a guy once that he's a name dropper.
Yeah. Oh, see that too.
He was. We went out once, and he does a lot of things. But he was name dropping constantly, and I was just like, you're trying to impress me from other people's successes.
Yeah.
So that's called hanging on a coattail.
It's like we were saying. I don't like men who talk too much about everything. They don't have anything going for them, so they talk about everything that happened before this point.
Yeah.
Like, I used to do this, and I used to do that, and I used to be big and bad. I told you the other day, there was a guy, there was a customer that was trying to chat me up the other day, and all he could talk about, I used to be a boxer, I used to do this, and I thought to myself, yeah, but you're not anymore. What else are you doing?
It's okay.
You're not doing much. That's just what. I like that because I'm doing stuff.
But you
become I talk about what I'm doing, and I talk about where I'm going because I think that's more interesting. Why would you talk about? Why am I going to talk about something that happened so long ago that isn't over?
Well, I actually believe that you become more attractive when you are just being yourself and not living like in the past. Yeah. And because that's what you're saying is that I know that I look terrible right now. Like right now, I know that my life is not looking great. It's like, but it doesn't. Maybe it does look great. Maybe your life does look okay. You are just.
Or maybe you're human.
Insecure about it.
You go through a human thing. Everyone falls. Everybody's not. There are people where everybody gets to a point where they're not where they want to be.
Just be real is what I'm trying to say.
But talking about all of when men talk about, when they talk too much and they talk about everything that, when they talk about everything that happened to them prior, where they succeeded, I'm just so turned off by that. It's just like, what are you doing now though?
Yeah.
I don't care what it is. Just tell me what it is. What are you doing now? Because the things I'm doing now, I like talking about. I'm not even talking about my story, how I lost everything. I don't even tell men about that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because that happened. Yeah. It's now I'm moving on. Right. I'm moving forward. And I like men who are very forward thinking. So it's like you said, this is why you need to really get to know people.
Yeah.
Don't settle, because things that people
Yeah.
do that are annoying aren't going to get better. They're going to get worse because
Yeah.
now they think you're okay with it.
Right.
Always, like we always say, like accountability. This all is because of how you feel about yourself.
Yeah.
When you settle
Yeah.
on someone that you don't really care too much about, there is some part of you that is okay with giving yourself somebody that doesn't fulfill you.
Yeah. Yes, I certainly have done that before.
You know what I mean? Just so
Yeah.
you can, like I said, meet a social quota of being married. You know, oh, I'm married now. Everybody else is, all my friends are married now. It's like,
Like, it's just
Right.
time. And also I know, like, in like the business world, like a lot of men, especially corporate world and stuff. There's a lot of men out there that are in high positions in the corporate world where they usually only get married because it's better for business deals. A lot of, it's weird, isn't it? Like a lot of companies will not do business with a leader, a man that does not have a family.
right.
Because it shows lack of leadership or no leadership skills at all. So a lot of companies they look to see
They say you can't run your home, you can't run a business.
if you can't run your home, you can't run a business. So a lot of companies do that. So what happens is a lot of men do settle. So when this man was saying that, when this man said that he settles, like he said, sometimes you have to settle. Like men think more logical about these things, and women are more like, oh, we gotta wait for this and that and the other. And for them, maybe it is different for them. I mean, we don't have a man present here to give us that, and maybe y'all can tell us if you're a guy
Right.
watching this. I mean, do you just settle for? I mean, like, you know what I mean? Do you just settle because it's time? It's time to get married. Like, it's time to get married.
Yeah.
Is it? You know what I mean? Like, isn't it only time when you're
I mean, I think that is when you men who get married for those reasons,
Yeah.
and they usually marry a woman that
Yeah.
that benefits them
Yeah.
in that way, because it is like, but usually those women are doing the same thing.
Yeah.
You know what
It's
I
like
mean?
it's
just
literally
it's
a
sort
business
of like
deal.
a business deal. So
Yeah.
that's kind of, I guess that's kind of different in a way because it's mutual.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're both getting something out of it. But I'm
Right.
talking about people who are really just
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
they're just in it because they've either been dating someone too long,
Yeah.
and they think, oh well, I should go ahead and marry the person. It's just like, no, you just don't do that. You know what I mean? It's like, why would you do that? Because you're just gonna resent that person.
Yeah. It's gonna be
Later. See,
horrible.
that's what I'm saying. Even in a sort of a practical way, it's like, why would you want to waste your time?
Yeah.
I don't like wasting my time. Like I said,
Yeah.
I don't even like having lunch with people.
Well, I don't
that
like wasting other people's time either.
No, you know what I mean? I don't like that. You know what I mean? Because I feel like time is all we really have anyway.
You're right.
Everything else,
True.
like money and stuff like that, those things all come with time. And how and the quality of your life will determine that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But your time is the most important. Your health, your the way you think, and not just your physical, but your mental health. How you think about yourself, because really how you think about yourself is what you attract, and what you attract, is a reflection of how you really feel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? About your life. If you think you need somebody in your life, no matter what the cost, just so you can look good, to family members or, people you went to school with, you know what I mean? Then you don't really like yourself that much.
Yeah. So if you rush to be in a relationship, marriage or whatever, and it's your marriage or your relationship is going bad, or it's sour, all of a sudden the guy's a jerk now. It's like there's always something there.
Yeah.
That it was already showing that. I think we say that a lot, but it's real important that I think that people don't get that. Like he was always a jerk. You just were in a hurry. You're like, oh well, this is the only one.
Right.
He's asking me.
Yeah.
We watched a video the other day where a woman got down on her knee and asked a man. This is where we're at now. This is desperate times for a lot of these women out here. And I'm like, I am not part of that show at all. Look, I'm not with all that. Getting down and proposing to a man. That's where we're at. Where we have to just. He's not asking, so.
If a man hasn't asked you to marry him because he doesn't want you.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean? That's just simple.
And if he asks you to marry him, and you marry him, and he does not give you any attention,
right.
or her, not giving you any attention, then they never wanted you.
They just don't want you.
They were just, and that's a harsh thing to hear, but I feel like if you just hear the harsh truth, I really feel like you won't make the same mistake next time. Like the harsh truths is what got me to not make the same mistakes a million times.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I do feel like if if someone is not treating you well, and if they are not, like, I want my man to be all about me. Like, you know what I mean? Not all, I mean, what I mean when I say that, I mean, like, really be into me, like me. You know what I mean? Like me, and care for me, and interested in me in some way. He doesn't have to be all hugged up on me every 5 minutes, but definitely, I want him to have some kind of interest in me. So if your husband or your wife is not showing, I think if they're not showing interest in you, then there was part of that was already there. That was always there.
If you're interested in your own life, though, you attract someone who's interested in you. See, because the thing is like when you're only an interesting person when you're interesting.
Yeah.
Or if you're interested.
So if you need someone to be to feel interesting, then
you know what I mean.
You're not
you attract what you're interested to.
Yeah.
You'll do that naturally. You don't need to be something else to attract someone. You know, you need to be yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean. And whatever you find interesting, you will attract in another person that's also interested.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree with that.
So you don't need to be anything but you. I think this is like, you know, between me and you. This is sometimes I forget that I'm on camera.
I know.
You know what I mean? But I think very highly of myself. And the reason why I say that is because it took me a long time to get there. You know what I mean? To really think highly of myself and to really care about my life. And you know, like I said, when I'm working out or when I'm trying to eat right or just when I'm spending time with you or mom or when I'm watching my favorite television show, these are things that take my time.
Right.
And my time is precious to me. So even when I'm at work, I don't hang out with people who gossip. I don't want to hang out. I don't want to talk about other people's, I don't want to talk about people behind their back. That doesn't interest me.
Right.
You know what I mean? So my time is very valuable to me. So I'm definitely not going to spend time with a man who doesn't want to make me want to be better.
Yeah, you come home and be all uncomfortable.
You know, I'm very interested in forward thinking. Like I like forward thinking people. You know what I mean? And I just think if you're not making me feel like I want to move forward, then you're making me feel like I want to stand still. And if you're making me feel like I stand still, you're really making me go backwards. Yeah. Because if we're not moving forward, that is what we're doing. Yeah. We're going backwards. And that's where people's lives get stagnant because they don't move forward. They get comfortable with each other. They try to pretend like they like each other when they don't. You know what I mean? And then there are these people that have 26 and 30-year relationships where they don't even like each other. Right. They just think that the length of time means means like you won. Mm-hmm. You know, and no, you know what I mean? The valuable time. There are people who've been married for 30 years who aren't having a good life at all. Mm-hmm. You know, there are people who are dating people who are having better lives with people. And the thing is like, I like myself. I like being with myself. Mm-hmm. Do I want to get married? Absolutely, I want to get married. Mm-hmm. I can't wait to share my life with someone. I can't wait for that to happen, but I will not take the time God has given me and waste it with someone who isn't for me, because like I said before, I don't think that people stand in front of God and say the vows, but a lot of relationships aren't coming together because of God. Yeah. They're coming together because of issues. Yeah. You know what I mean? We date our issues when we don't fix them, and the only way you can fix your issues is alone. Yeah. You can't fix it with someone else. The things that you're dealing with since you were a child or a teenager, those are things that you have to really deal with. You can't marry someone and they just fix it for you because they're with you. Yeah. What you're going to do is you're going to marry someone who nurtures an instability in you. Mm-hmm. And then sooner or later it's going to bubble to the surface and you're going to, hate that person or cheat on that person because they don't fulfill you.
Yeah, and they're also not supporting you and things. Right. Like I know people who this is such a minor thing, but so please don't look. Social media, like usually if you're married or even in a relationship, the person you're with is following you on social media. Hopefully, like your husband's watching social. But I know people who, and I'm not trying to put a big, put social media on a pedestal and like it's everything. It is not everything. Actually, it's not much at all, right? But it's weird when you see I know someone whose husband does not like any of his wife's pictures, doesn't interacts with all over social media. You know what I mean? With their mutual friends, but just has no interest in it, making them feel stupid. You know what I mean? Most of the time, and it's like that's weird to me. I feel like you're. It's embarrassing. You're right. You know what I mean? Like I feel like the more you settle with someone that's not right for you, and you know that, it becomes really embarrassing. Right. Because now everyone can see, and you, not just everyone, but then you can see. That someone's just literally not showing any interest in you. Why would anyone I don't understand why anybody would ever want to settle for that. No. I mean, I guess I can understand if you have low self-worth You know, that would be the only reason.
But
to me.
that would be
That's the only reason. If you don't,
the only
like
reason you
yourself.
would settle for someone is because you don't value your own self.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're saying like you want to value your own soul, your own time. The thing, because see, like our body and our mind, that's ours. That's something that's real sacred. Ourself, we're sacred. Yeah, I still think it's all like self-worth. Like I think that you have that most people are dating their issues and they're not dating.
Like I'm 42. I'm not
right.
considering. There's no way I'm settling at this point. I'm not old. I'm just saying that it's not. It was literally, I was telling like I was saying earlier with this guy, I was like, it makes no sense now for me. He's like, well, don't you think it's time to get married? I'm like, of course, it's always, you know, it can always be a right time.
Is it time to get
but
not right now?
Not right now.
But they say, is it time? Don't you think it's time to get married? When it's time to get married?
Yeah, when it's time to get married.
No, obviously not.
I'm not married.
You know what I mean? Obviously, no, it's not time to get married. See, it's like the way things are presented. Is to see how he's like, don't you think it's time to get married? Like he's pushing you to think that you're too old to be waiting this long. But the truth is, it's like no. It's when it's time to get married. Is when you meet someone. It's not. There's no age.
Yeah.
That you're supposed to get married. If you find someone at 25, you just do.
Yeah.
If you find someone at 55, you just do. You know what I mean? There is no. Is it time to get married? Not now. I guess not.
You know what
I
told him. I said, you know, what I'm trying to avoid here is how you feel about your wife. I'm trying to avoid she's a nice woman, so.
Yeah.
But the woman I wanted was the woman 20 years ago. But she was here. So I said, I'm trying to avoid that mess. So I just think it's much better to love who you are. And then I think that you'll find somebody that can do that in return. But it's not going to happen if you don't love who you are. I just don't think it's
remember that interesting, this is kind of the same, but not really. Remember that it was an interesting episode on Sex and the City a long time ago when Carrie went and she went to a baby shower. And her shoes were missing, remember?
Oh, yeah.
And she had those Manolo Blahniks, and they were like $600, $700. And the girl that was there was like, it's just shoes. And so the whole topic was about, because this woman had children, and Carrie doesn't have children, and she's a single woman. And she was telling Stanford, her gay friend, and she was just like, you know what, I'm so sick of people. She said, why is it that single women aren't celebrated like married women and women with children? That we celebrate people in unions, but we don't celebrate ourselves for being happy and single.
Right.
So she made a registry, like you do a baby registry or a bridal registry. She made a single girl registry at Manolo Blahnik, and the girl had to buy her shoes.
Right.
So she went there and had to sign up, and she was just like, okay, I got the point. And she bought her shoes back. But she's just like, yeah, we need to celebrate happy single people, just like we do marriage. Because just because you're married doesn't mean that you're happy. And I think that a lot of people just think that marriage equals rite of passage, which means you're good.
Yeah. You're good.
When you get a clap and everybody buys you gifts and shows up to your but when you're happy and single, people make it seem like it's tragic.
Yeah.
That you're just like happy and single.
Especially when you're like 35.
Right.
Like 35 35 is when your judgment begins. I think that's when the judgment starts to really seep in. Like people, oh, wait a minute now.
Like,
I think you're weird. Like
I'm not married to the wrong person.
Yeah, me too. No, because that's what I'm saying. We're saying in the last episode we were saying like I was going to get married. Like I was getting married.
I got friends on Facebook that are going through divorces.
I didn't want to be married.
I have friends on Facebook that have gone through divorce, and that doesn't look like fun. No, it looks sad.
Oh no, I have friends that are going through divorce.
Yeah, and they got married in their 20s, and everybody was celebrating them too, and they were all excited. Now they're all not liking themselves, taking pictures that are inappropriate, and always talking about always putting the memes up that make them seem like strong, empowered women because they're because they're hurt. Yeah. And the thing is, it's like I'm celebrating that I'm not married to the wrong man. Yeah. Right. Because I tell you, I would rather be single for the rest of my life than be tied down with some man that I look at and am not inspired by and doesn't want to make me better. Yeah. Because the man that I was going I'd rather just date. The man that I was going to be married to, we're friends, but currently we're friends. But I'm happy I didn't marry him. Nice guy, wonderful person, okay. Wonderful person, but I have to say he's now married and has 3 children, and they're all his family is like, I love the way his family is, right? It's literally like he found the right. I was not it. Right. I wasn't it. And when I see him now, when I see his family and his wife and all that, I'm thinking, yes,
That's who you're supposed to be with. It was never me.
Yeah.
It was never me. So you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm glad we didn't rush to that. I'm glad we didn't rush to that because his family's lovely. You know what I mean? That and he seems very, very happy, and that's good. But see, imagine we would have been divorced.
Even the guy I thought
we would have been divorced.
That I thought the one that got away. You know, now when I don't think that anymore, and a lot of times I see like him and his family, and I'm really happy for him. So that means that love can't be that far away.
Yeah,
because
right.
I have now mentally thought, no, it wasn't him.
It wasn't a
so
wrong
stop
decision.
thinking people just got away from you.
Right.
That wasn't the fact that they're not with you is the sign that they weren't for you.
Right.
Just say that.
And be done with it.
Right. You know what I mean? It's okay. You know what I mean? That it didn't work out. There's plenty of people on this earth that you can date. And believe me, there really are. And you will find the right
good
person.
People, too.
Good people.
Just make sure you're good, too. Because if you're not...
But don't marry
someone
that you settled for.
Yeah.
Because you wanted to get married at a time. You know, God doesn't always do things in our timing.
No, that is truly whack to settle for anybody because... You know, you have kids and you don't think you can, no one's going to want you, or because you're a certain age and no one's going to want you. Don't do it. Don't do it. You're gonna I swear you're going to regret that. All right, guys. We're done. Okay, we have to get going, so we're running out of time. I'm going to go ahead and apologize for the lighting, because I know the lighting, and this video lighting was horrible. Like, we saw it going in and out. So, sorry you guys about the lighting. Please like and subscribe to our channel here on YouTube and hit the bell to get notifications. And if you have time, go to our Facebook page and like our Facebook page and kind of support us there too if you desire. And we really appreciate you guys' support. And we will be back next week on Tuesday. We always upload on Tuesdays. And that's it.
That's it.
I said a lot of ands. And.
Cut.
We're done. You guys have a good day. Bye.